was it?
Oh.
Oh no! I'm so sorry. We are going to miss you, my friend.
That was the grand finale ending. At least some of it. They're like, you wanted the 2004 experience? Here you go.
From another world, the doubt, the onward, beyond the land of my sacred home, my heart, my soul, my body, my skin, my own destiny. My heart, my soul, my body, my skin, my own
It is whack.
My dear friend, I understand your need to know more about the events that took place in this part of the mainland. But you should know that reporting on the current situation is not easy. The upheavals of recent months have been such that the balance of power in Kakan has been altered. We came close to disaster. General Kurnaz might well have succeeded in creating the empire he dreamed of, if he hadn't been defeated by that party I've already told you of. And if he hadn't committed the folly of antagonizing the Coin Guard who tracked his forces to the ruins where he had taken refuge. The imperialist movement, whose corruption had reached the highest spheres, seems to have died out with him. However, among the people, many are those who mourn his death. He flattered their nationalistic pride. We'll have to remain highly vigilant with regard to them. If they turn him into a martyr for their cause, we risk a resurgence of their deadly ideology and the rising of a new general. My spies are still looking for Zeren, who, as I've already told you in my letters, disappeared after the battle. None of my men managed to get their hands on her. We must hope that she doesn't plan on joining her husband's supporters. As for the scientists who were trying to create those creatures of war for the general, they were hunted down by the Guard. I know you wanted us to catch some of them alive, to put them to work for us. I admit their research could have been useful, despite their ideology, which is resolutely opposed to our own. But I doubt I'll be able to. The superintendent is pursuing them with unexpected rigor. The situation in the Dutton Empire, our main ally in the region, has also been impacted by all these events. The death of General Kurnas allowed them to lighten the defense of the Eastern Front along the border with the Alliance. This allowed the Emperor to concentrate on the civil war that was ravaging his country, and in particular on the elimination of the Communist heretics. Especially since the sudden disappearance of General Eisenach was so poorly perceived by his troops, some revolted, which weakened him. The merchant congregation, which I am watching very closely as you know, has also undergone some changes. Our allies, the De Vesps, have managed to get their hands on the proof that their lineage can be traced back to the ancient kings of Astria. This allowed them to consolidate their position among the nobility and gain significant influence with the various cities. With our support, they should be able to rise again to the head of the congregation within a few years. I know that you have a keen interest in the affairs of the Nords, so I will say a few words about them here. Admiral Cabral is in Tier 4D, so Admiral Barcelus, with whom we have already done business, is in charge of the guild. After the general's stunt forced him to distance himself from the Alliance, I believe he will be quite receptive to our proposals. As you may remember, one of his lieutenants was to furnish us with a map of a new island. But let's get back to the party I mentioned previously, and which so piqued your curiosity. As already mentioned in my letters, I've met the various members on several occasions in recent months. Our agent Fausta introduced them to me. She was our biggest source of information on the events I previously mentioned. As you may remember, I had given her orders to assassinate the general if the opportunity presented itself. Her failure cost her. She was imprisoned, but fortunately was freed by her friends. I promised her forgiveness and to be allowed to return home, although she has still much to atone for after her past mistakes. Among the members of the party were two Tier 4Dians. One of them was called Nilan. He died during the assault on the catacombs. He sacrificed himself bravely, I must say, while his party, which was leading an incursion, was overwhelmed by the general's troops. I think I have already told you that Prince Alexander's niece, Sybil de Vesp, was also in the party. I've been told that someone put a bounty on her head, and although she's under the official protection of a prince, it's a threat to her life. I offered her my help to find out who could be behind it, but she's refused for the moment. She's clever, and knows very well that our help will not be free. The party also counted the captain of the Constantia, Alvida, the daughter of Admiral Barcelos himself. We learned that she's now investigating the death of a diplomat, and that she's broken off relations with her father. She's now looking to join Admiral Cabral's fleet in order to have nothing more to do with him. Among this strange party was also a citizen of the Dutton Empire called Ludwig. It didn't take long for us to discover that he was a smuggler and wanted for various crimes and misdemeanors. Having sent his family to safety in Uxantis, he is said to have tried to confront General Eisenach, who was pursuing him, without any real success. Those two will probably continue to circle each other for a long time, until one of them dies. Perhaps we should lend the general a hand. He'd be much more useful to us than a smuggler. You may remember that there was also a member of the Coin Guard among them, a certain Till who had been close to General Kurnas. He is said to have resumed his position as captain, but the rumors don't shed a good light upon him. He is said to have turned to alcohol. Finally, there was this woman of a certain age, Safia, a cartographer from the Bridge Alliance. She is said to have gone back to Tier 4D in search of one of her friends, but I don't know more. It is likely that she'll eventually die there. The forests on that island are not the best place for an elderly woman. Finally, of course, there remains the one who was the soul of the party, the other Tearfridian, who some called Frötengare, thanks to whom the Tearfridians escaped a smallpox epidemic orchestrated by Kurnas that would have had catastrophic consequences, and who, of course, led the final assault on the general in the catacombs. As she returned to Tearfridi to join her people, while still communicating with her former companions. But don't worry, I make sure to always keep an eye on her. Someone whose acts have had such an impact won't disappear into nothingness. There you have it. I think that I have summarized the fallout from the events that you asked about. Unfortunately, I can't answer your questions about the situation on Tearfridi yet. I'm still waiting for a report from my agents there. All I know to date is that several highly placed people from the congregation are involved.